Okay guys, we're in the valley. Welcome back. This was a video that I wanted to make last year, but we never had a chance to make it. What's going on in the field here, I'm coming back for the second cultivation of soybeans. We're using the light Danish Tine. The first pass, I showed you in the corn video how our field looks like this. The planter pushes ridges up between the rows. Well, you come with that first pass with your rolling shields down, and in effect what you do, look down on the field here, honey, what you do with that first pass is you flatten out the field. On that pass you're only driving in one place because you're at the first trifoliate, and so the bean is only, 3-4 inches tall. And if you look across the field at that point in time, the ridges are about the same height as the bean, and when you break those ridges down and make them flat, then you're left with a bean that's just barely poking out of the soil, and the first trifoliate is above the soil surface. So we did that a couple weeks ago. Now we're coming back on the second cultivation. So this cultivation is the one where you really have to pay attention. You have to know where your machine's at. So come up here to the row, honey. On that first cultivation, we pushed dirt in on the soybeans, but there were some weeds that we missed. We did not push enough dirt. And so when you're looking down the row here, you will see that there are some weeds on either side of the row. Yet here's a volunteer corn plant. And if you look down here, right on the row, he is approximately 4 inches outside of the row. He survived the first cultivation. There's a smooth ground cherry. They survived the first cultivation, but you can kill them now. So this cultivation pass is the very, very important one. And this cultivation pass ties together the skinny wheels that I was talking about, and then steering your cultivator to one side or the other to clean the row. So when you're driving on this pass, you're paying attention to your row. You will see weeds to one side of the row or to the other side of the row, and you will be able to clean them out. Step over here where I've already gone. And so we have reversed the ridges. Now the field, you get down there and you show the aspect, honey. Now the field is actually ridged up on the crop, and if you pull that crop back, we have pushed the dirt up. We've covered those first two leaves, and we have cleaned next to the row. Now invariably there will be one side of the row or other that has weeds on it. That's just the way the cultivator works. And so when you're coming back on this pass, you can hug the row one way, you can hug the row the other way, and you can really clean your beans up in the row and right next to the row. This is the last chance you get to kill weeds, and so this is very important. The third pass, when you come along and really throw ridges up, by then the weeds are too big to kill. Here is a cucumber. This cucumber right here germinated right in the row and came right with the beans. There's no way to kill him. The only way to kill him is that right there. But all these weeds on the edges, you can really clean it up. When you're in the tractor, you vary your speed and you hug the row and you clean the row. So let's run in the tractor just a little bit and give you an idea of what the speed is like. Okay guys, here we go. We are running in first high, so we're running somewhere between 5 and 7 miles an hour, depending on how tall the beans are. Another reason you really have to pay attention on this pass is that with all that corn residue, it is possible for you to bridge the two center shanks on the row and completely bury the bean. So I'm using my mirrors. I'm not looking back, bending my neck because I feel I'll get off the road too much, but I do watch my mirrors for the rows and how the cultivator is working. When I get into taller beans, I go faster. Beans, I go slow. The amount of dirt, you can see that dirt action back there and how I've ridged it up and how the soil is working loose. You've got to remember here, you can vary that soybean up to the top growing point. As long as you leave that top growing point that the bean exposed, he will continue to grow and he will survive the cultivation. And so you've got to be right on the edge of thinking I'm killing too many beans. Those row, you want to cut them out if you want to bury them. And like I said at the start, this is about your last chance to really kill weeds in the row. So that ought to give you a grasp. Thanks, guys. Intention was to have that out in the row, but the beans are short enough that I'm not hurting them. Yeah. So what I was talking about is this gap here is 14 inches. Okay. And these tires, theoretically, I can move within the row 6 inches one way or the other. Okay, which just brings these. Which brings this shank right here. I can run that shank right next to that row. And it doesn't. And this little thing right here, yeah, he'll die. Okay, I got you. Because I will crowd the row. The first pass, the beans are so little, and you're terrified about killing them. So there, you're trying to drive right on the center. Okay, so you don't get covered up or yeah. Yes. I got you. Okay. This pass, though, invariably on that first pass, you will clean. See how this side of the row is perfectly clean? Yes. But this side of the row wasn't. So with this time, I'm going to. You're going to favor this side of the row. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And it helps that this cultivator is a squirrely. He always pulls to the. He always pulls to the left. So you can just line it up and make do what you want. So I remember my pattern. I talked about that in one of my other videos. I remember my pattern. The first pass, when I did this row, the first pass, I was coming back this way. Okay. And now I'm going back this way. So he's favoring so he's favoring the opposite side. Perfect. It's just little tricks. So